What happens next will shock you beyond belief. If you were in her position, what would you do? Please let me know in the comments below. The crystal champagne flute trembles in my hand as I stand alone at the San Jose Country Club bar. I'm watching my cousin Claire's engagement party unfold like a glossy magazine spread. Perfect lighting, perfect flowers, perfect family smiles. But those smiles never quite reach their eyes when they land on me. I check my phone again. No messages from Logan. The designer watch he gave me for Christmas shows 7:45 p.m. In Zurich time, his consulting meeting should be finished by now. I quickly scroll through my contacts and find Elite Aviation Services, Logan McLean CEO. It's the emergency contact system we set up when he made Forbes 40 under 40 last year. My finger hesitates. Not yet. But I need to be prepared. Julia, darling. My mother's voice carries that particular tone she reserves for public performances. She's steering an older couple toward me. Her pearl necklace catches the light. This is the Andersons. They're new members here. This is my daughter Julia. She's between relationships right now. I swallow the correction. 2 years engaged to Logan, and she still pretends he doesn't exist. The Andersons murmur polite greetings and mercifully move on, champagne glasses in hand. My phone buzzes. Finally. But it's just my team in Dubai, confirming tomorrow's client presentation. The final confirmation for the 1.2 billion yen contract with the Almahera Group. 3 times my father's annual salary. I need to call Logan, to hear his voice and ground myself in reality before I drown in this sea of family fiction. The hallway leading to the ladies' room offers blessed silence, after the tinkling laughter and clinking glasses of the main room. My heels click against marble as I dial Logan's number. Then I hear it. Laughter floating from around the corner. My mother's voice and Aunt Patricia's, sharing that particular cadence of gleeful mockery I remember from childhood. 2 years engaged to a man no one's ever met. My mother's words slur slightly. Who does that? Aunt Patricia's answering laugh sounds like breaking glass. Aviation consultant? Is that what we're calling flight attendants now? When she can't hear, I've started calling him her imaginary fiance. My mother again, her voice thick with amusement. Always trying to keep up with Claire. She's been a liar since childhood, you know. Remember when she was 12 and claimed she won some award at school? It's that escapist tendency. Patricia chimes in. The whole overseas thing is just running away. She can't get a real job, so she lives in this fantasy world. The phone slips from my suddenly numb fingers, clattering against marble. Tears burn behind my eyes, but don't fall. I won't give them that satisfaction, even if they can't see me. Memories rush in like tidewater. Me at 22. Standing in our kitchen as Dad's face turned that particular shade of purple reserved for major disappointments. Law school is your future, Julia. This art school nonsense is throwing your life away. Mom wringing her hands in the background. Graphic design is a lovely hobby, sweetheart, but it's not a career. I stand up, pick up my phone, and check the screen for damage. Still functional. I tap the direct number for Elite Aviation Services. Hello, Mr. McLean's private line. Julia Bennett. Execute emergency protocol Alpha 7. San Jose Country Club, tonight at 9 p.m. Understood. Instructions for the pilot? Tell him he's picking up his future wife. I hang up and take a deep breath. Then I touch up my makeup and return to the party. Back in the main room, Mother is talking with the Wilsons. When she spots me, she waves me over. Julia. I was just telling the Wilsons about my daughter. Mrs. Wilson's eyebrows draw together sympathetically. Your mother mentioned you're struggling overseas. Struggling? I tilt my head. With finding work, Mr. Wilson continues. But travel is good for young people. Ice-cold anger spreads through my chest. Now I understand exactly what story Mother has been spreading. Excuse me. I force a smile. I need to freshen up. In the hallway, I can hear Father's voice from the direction of the study. Julia? Honestly, I'm worried. Father sighs. 30 years old with no real job history. This whole designer thing needs to stop. She needs to face reality. But she says she's working overseas. Someone's voice. Freelance logo design is like doodling in a coffee shop. Father laughs. Her so-called international clients are probably just small business websites. And this fiance of hers. Another male voice, my brother Tom. 2 years, and nobody has met him. No photos, nothing. It's pathological, honestly. Father's voice grows heavy. She's confusing fantasy with reality. She might need therapy. I lean against the wall. My hands are shaking. Not with anger, but with calculated calm. 8:50 p.m. 10 more minutes. Back at the party, Claire rushes over to me. Julia. Time for speeches. You're representing the family. I step up to the microphone. The room falls silent. When two people find each other, I begin, letting my gaze drift across the expectant faces. They deserve to be surrounded by people who believe in them. The sound of champagne flutes clinking against butter knives echoes through the room. Claire and Michael have that foundation. Every step of their journey is celebrated, documented, believed in. Mother's smile begins to falter slightly. But some people never receive that support. My words ring across the reception hall. Some have their closest family members whispering doubts behind closed doors, calling them liars behind their backs. The room buzzes. Mother's face pales. So, here's to those people. I raise my glass. To those who succeed anyway. Scattered, uncertain applause follows. The air is thick with tension. As I step away from the microphone, Maria touches my elbow. I wanted to tell you, she whispers, showing me her phone screen. They've been saying this for years. The family group chat scrolls past. Words jump out like neon signs in the dark. Might need therapy. No real career. Making up relationships to compete with Claire. Father's voice drifts from a nearby table. Julia's going through a phase. The same dismissal he used when I left law school. When I moved to Europe. When I landed my first international client. A 15-year phase. Your brother told the Hendersons. Maria continues, her voice barely audible. That your overseas career is basically freelance busy work. Like I'm sitting in a coffee shop designing logos instead of running global campaigns. The weight of years of dismissal settles across my shoulders like a familiar shawl. Mother holds court near the gift table. Aunt Patricia at her right hand, as always. The perfect power couple. One plants seeds of doubt. The other waters them with whispers until they bloom into full-grown lies. Did you see the wedding magazines? Maria's words carry an edge of anger I've never heard from her. Your mother showed them to Claire last month. At least one daughter will have a proper wedding. Like you're some cautionary tale instead of a success story. My phone vibrates against my hip. Logan's message lights up the screen. 3 minutes out. Ready? The room shifts around me. Familiar faces rearrange themselves into new patterns. Rebecca slips through the doorway, fashionably late as always. One look at my face and her eyebrows draw together. She knows me well enough to read the storm brewing behind my careful smile. She'll leave early, like always. Mother's voice carries from behind a massive flower arrangement. She can't keep up these stories forever. The master of ceremonies taps his microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be concluding our toasts before dinner service begins. My Dubai team's presentation deck flashes through my mind. The one my family dismissed as playing at business last Christmas. The one that just landed us a contract worth more than Father's annual partner draw. The marble floor clicks beneath my heels as I cross to where Mother stands, still holding court with her circle of friends. This time, I don't curve my spine to make myself smaller in her presence. I have never lied to you about my life, I say, my voice steady as a heartbeat. Not once. Remember that. Something flickers behind her eyes, discomfort, maybe even fear, before the practiced smile slides back into place. Of course, darling. We've always supported your creative endeavors. My eyes catch Mother's. Quiet but clear. Who said imaginary fans 30 minutes ago? Mother's face turns waxy white. Nearby guests awkwardly look away, suddenly finding their champagne fascinating. The first throb of helicopter blades cuts through the evening air. Mother's head snaps up. Recognition dawns in her eyes as they meet mine. She knows that sound. She's bragged often enough about Father's clients arriving for dinner parties in their private helicopters. But tonight, that sound carries a different message. Sometimes the truth doesn't whisper. Sometimes it roars. Have you ever been doubted for years by the people who should believe in you most? What evidence would it take to change their minds? For Julia's family, it was about to land on their perfectly manicured lawn. The war of helicopter blades slices through evening conversation. Champagne flutes pause halfway to lips. In the garden, strings of fairy lights tremble. This is just a coincidence. Mother's voice rises. Someone must be lost. The club doesn't allow unauthorized landings. Mother, I say quietly. It's not a coincidence. Mother's hands shake as she pulls out her smartphone. But this is just for show, right? Just some. But her fingers start clumsily operating the screen. Father pulls out his phone, already shifting into problem-solving mode. The larger venue down the road sometimes gets helicopter arrivals. Aunt Patricia's laugh rings hollow across the room. Claire, darling, did you arrange a surprise for your engagement party? Claire shakes her head, confusion plain on her face. I take a slow sip of champagne, letting the bubbles dance on my tongue. This moment I've orchestrated unfolds exactly as planned. Yet my hands tremble slightly as I set down my glass. The sound grows louder. Conversations stutter and stop. Silver-haired men in blazers drift toward the floor-to-ceiling windows. Women in designer dresses exchange glances, their jewelry catching the light as they crane their necks. I move toward the terrace doors. Each step feels weightless, like I'm floating through a dream I've rehearsed 1,000 times. The garden lights illuminate my path, casting my shadow long across the marble floor. Mother's fingers close on my wrist. Julia, where are you going? I turn to face her. Gentle, but immovable. To greet my fans. Her fingers slip away. In her eyes, I catch the first flicker of understanding and fear. The helicopter appears over the tree line, sleek and black against the purple dusk. Its landing lights sweep across manicured lawns and sculpted topiaries. Julia, Mother's voice has lost its performance polish. This disruption is unnecessary. I don't respond. The time for words passed long ago, somewhere between tonight's whispered mockery and imaginary fans. Instead, I push open the terrace doors and step into the evening air. Behind me, the party has gone silent. Even the string quartet has stopped playing. I stand framed in the doorway, my green silk dress moving in the artificial wind. The moment stretches like pulled taffy, sweet with anticipation. The helicopter touches down with professional precision. The rotors slow their rhythm, fading to a whisper. When the door opens, Logan emerges like an actor hitting his mark. My breath catches. He looks exactly as I'd imagined: a charcoal suit, hair slightly windswept, every inch the successful aviation consultant. His long strides eat up the distance between us, confident and unhurried. Sorry I'm late, darling. His voice carries across the hushed garden. He bends to kiss my forehead, his hand settling at my waist with familiar warmth. Did I miss your toast? A collective gasp ripples through the crowd. I hear crystal shatter, someone's grip on their champagne flute failing spectacularly. Logan turns toward the party, his smile genuine as he spots Claire and her fans. Claire, Thomas, congratulations. He reaches into his jacket and produces an envelope. A small engagement gift. First-class upgrades for your honeymoon. The Maldives, right? Claire's face lights up with genuine pleasure. Unlike my mother, my cousin never participated in the whispered doubts. Logan, you shouldn't have. Thank you. My friend Rebecca catches my eye from across the room. Her knowing smile is a balm for my racing heart. She raises her glass in a silent toast. Logan guides me back inside, his hand steady at the small of my back. We move through the crowd like water through a stream, people parting before us. Father steps forward. His face is a complex map of confusion and fear, still unable to accept reality. This must be some kind of mistake. Father's voice trembles. Mr. Bennett. Logan extends his hand along with his business card. It's wonderful to finally meet you. Julia speaks of her childhood with such fondness. Father stares at the business card. Logan McLean, CEO, Aviation Consulting Group, a strategic partner. Emirates, Singapore Airlines, Lufthansa. His hand shakes slightly as Father pulls out his smartphone. His fingers clumsily search for Logan McLean CEO. The moment the results fill the screen, all color drains from his face. This can't be, really. Father's handshake is automatic but completely lifeless. Aviation consulting, you said. Which markets primarily? Europe and Asia. Logan's voice carries the precise mix of authority and ease that commands boardrooms. We're expanding our presence in the Middle East. Actually, that's what delayed me tonight. The CEO of the Almahera Group called directly about Julia's next project. The contract value is expected to be around 1.2 billion yen. Mother desperately operates her smartphone. Her fingers shake as she searches for Logan McLean CEO. Results appear on screen. Forbes 40 under 40. 5 billion yen annual revenue company. Strategic partner. Emirates, Singapore Airlines. But could it be? Mother's voice cracks. Now she searches for Bennett Global Branding. Headlines reading secures historic Middle East contract fill the screen. All color completely drains from Mother's face. Julia. Mother's voice cracks slightly. We should have. Her hand shakes as she clutches her smartphone. The screen still displays my achievements. We should have believed you. The words finally emerge. We should have believed you. Those words slip out soft as silk, sharp as steel. Yes, you should have. Logan's hand squeezes mine, grounding me in the present. Around us, phones appear in manicured hands. I know what they're searching for. Logan's consulting firm, my international clients, the life they dismissed as fantasy. The weight of vindication settles around my shoulders. Not like a crown, more like armor I no longer need to wear. We move through the reception. Logan's arms settled around my waist. The helicopter, visible through the floor-to-ceiling windows, serves as a constant reminder of everything they refuse to believe. Long-craved approval from them now feels strangely light, empty and worthless. And I understand. What I wanted wasn't approval, it was recognition. Simply to be seen. My existence, my choices, my success. Now they see. But it's too late. I am no longer their daughter, nor someone who needs their approval. I am a woman living a life I built myself. The string quartet starts playing again, but the party's rhythm has fundamentally shifted. Years of dismissal crash against the concrete reality of Logan's helicopter, my success, our life. The impact leaves my family scrambling to rewrite history. Julia will have a keynote speech at the International Brand Summit next month. Logan continues smoothly. Perhaps you'd like to attend. We could arrange seats. Father's phone appears in his hand so quickly it seems to materialize. Around us, other relatives tap and scroll. Their faces are illuminated by the blue glow of screens showing my career, my achievements, my truth. Tell them about the Singapore Airlines campaign, darling. Logan's voice carries just enough for the cluster of relatives pretending not to eavesdrop. Mother's wine glass pauses halfway to her lips. The rebrand launched last month. I say, letting my voice fill with the quiet pride I've spent years suppressing. Full fleet livery redesign, lounge concepts for 13 international hubs. Complete digital overhaul. Aunt Patricia's fingers tighten around her champagne stem. She'd spent the last hour trying to insert herself into conversations, suddenly remembering supportive comments she never made. "I always told Diane you had an eye for design, didn't I, sister?" Mother nods too quickly, pearls bobbing at her throat. "Julia mentioned the Dubai project weeks ago. Very exciting." The lie hangs in the air between us. I haven't spoken to her in months. Not since the Christmas call that ended with her suggesting I see a therapist about my need to exaggerate. Logan's thumb traces small circles against my hip, grounding me. "Actually, the Almahera presentation is next week," I say. First time they've consolidated their luxury brands under one visual identity. Father materializes at my elbow, all forced business interest. Aviation consulting must be fascinating. The regulatory frameworks alone. Speaking of frameworks, my brother Tom cuts in. There's desperation in his voice. He's also just checked my LinkedIn profile on his smartphone. "I always knew you'd make it big, sis. Remember when I helped you with that school project?" A laugh bubbles up before I can stop it. "You mean when you told me graphic design was for people who couldn't handle real jobs?" Tom's face turns purple. His smartphone screen shows my list of industry awards. The silence stretches just long enough to be uncomfortable. Claire's future mother-in-law raises a perfectly sculpted eyebrow. "I thought you said Julia was struggling with her career?" Maria, bless her, doesn't miss a beat. Funny how memories change when a helicopter lands, isn't it? Mother smooths invisible wrinkles from her silk dress. "Actually," I say softly, "you called it running away from responsibility." The words land like pebbles in still water, ripples of discomfort spreading through the gathered family. Rebecca appears at my side, champagne flute extended like a shield. "Remember that first client meeting in Paris? Julia stayed up 3 nights straight redoing the entire presentation because the brief changed last minute. You always knew exactly what you wanted," Claire adds, surprising me with her sincerity. A small cluster of younger cousins edges closer, eyes bright with something that looks like hope. "Julia, darling." Mother's voice takes on that particular tone she uses when orchestrating photo opportunities. "We should get some pictures for the family album while everyone's here." "Wonderful idea," Father chimes in. "And you must let us know when you're in Europe next. We'd love to visit." Tom slides a business card from his wallet. "We should grab coffee, talk about some international opportunities. The firm's looking to expand." I smile, precise as a scalpel. "We'll see what the schedule allows." Logan steers us toward the terrace, reading my need for air. The night wraps around us like cool silk. City lights glitter below. Through the glass, I watch Mother's face crumple slightly when she thinks no one's looking. "But Christmas is for family," she says later, cornering me by the dessert table. "You always come home for Christmas." I look at her. No sympathy, no anger. "I used to," I say quietly. "When you considered me family." "Julia, that's not. We've always." "No," I interrupt. "You've spent years denying my life. Now that you want to treat me as family, that right has expired." Tears swell up in Mother's eyes. But they don't move me. I have made my home elsewhere. Father stands frozen by the bar, Manhattan untouched as the reality of our new dynamic sinks in. They are no longer the authority figures who grant me approval. I am no longer in the position of seeking their approval. I am an independent woman living the life I chose. Aunt Patricia's voice drifts from behind a flower arrangement. Still showing off after all these years. Logan's hand finds mine, fingers intertwining. The diamond on my left hand catches the light, solid and real as the man beside me, as the career I built, as the truth they spent years denying. The helicopter sits dark and elegant on the lawn outside. A period at the end of a very long sentence. But it isn't the final punctuation mark in this story. Not yet. I squeeze Logan's hand, thinking of the invitation I'll send tomorrow. After all, winter in Dubai is lovely. And some truths need to be seen in the full light of day. They cannot hurt me again. With these thoughts, we said goodbye to everyone and headed to the hotel. Tomorrow is a big day. The next morning after the reception, the phone vibrates against the hotel nightstand at 10 a.m. My mother's name flashes across the screen, accompanied by her carefully curated profile photo from last Christmas. Julia, sweetheart. Her voice carries that particular wobble that appears whenever she wants something. I've been thinking about what happened at the reception. We should reconnect as a family. I let the silence stretch, watching Logan's reflection in the floor-to-ceiling windows as he moves around our suite, preparing for another consulting call. Mom, I have meetings all morning. Of course you do. The wobble transforms into something sharper. Your father wants to discuss some investment opportunities for your business. She pauses. The family business could use an international presence. My phone buzzes with incoming texts. From Dad, coffee to discuss your future. From my brother Mike, suddenly interested in expanding our global horizons. Even Aunt Patricia has posted on Facebook, featuring a photo from Claire's engagement party last night with the caption, "So proud of my successful niece Julia. Family first, global business." Logan catches my eye in the reflection, raising an eyebrow. I shake my head, lips curving into a smile that holds more satisfaction than amusement. The country club membership committee meets next month, Mom, she continues, voice brightening. Your father could nominate you now that you're established. The word hangs between us like a poisoned apple. Established. As if my success only became real when it arrived in a helicopter. The lake house is lovely in autumn, she adds. We could update the family Christmas card. You and Logan would look wonderful on the dock. I trace my finger along the window, watching the morning sun strike the glass towers of Dubai's financial district. That's generous, Mom. Well, family is family. Her voice softens. We can put all this unpleasantness behind us. All this unpleasantness. I repeat, letting each word fall like a stone. You mean the years you spent telling everyone I was lying about my life? Julia, really? We were just concerned. Logan sets a cup of Earl Grey on the desk beside me, his hand resting briefly on my shoulder. The warmth of his palm grounds me as the realization crystallizes. They're not sorry they didn't believe me, I say after ending the call. They're sorry they can't use me. Logan leans against the desk, arms crossed. What do you want to do about it? I open my laptop, fingers hovering over the keyboard. The words flow with unexpected ease. I'd like to invite you to Dubai next month. Let me show you what I've built. 3 weeks later, I watch my parents scan the arrivals terminal, their expectations visible in their designer luggage and travel outfits. Mom's face falls slightly when she spots our waiting car, not a luxury sedan, but a modest electric vehicle. The hotel is lovely, she manages later as Logan guides them through the understated lobby of the Four Seasons. No gilded excess, no ostentation, just quiet, impeccable taste. We thought you'd be comfortable here, I say, watching them search for the flashing glitter they'd imagined. Dubai isn't all about spectacle. The next morning, I lead them through the glass doors of Bennett Global Branding. 30 pairs of eyes look up from sleek desks, their owners rising to greet us. Good morning, Julia, they chorus, some voices carrying accents from London, Singapore, Cape Town. Your team? Dad asks, gaze jumping from face to face. My family, I correct quietly. I watch them absorb the wall of client logos, the industry awards, the framed magazine covers featuring my work. Through the conference room glass, they glimpse my upcoming keynote presentation for the Global Brand Summit. All this time, Mom whispers, you really were building something. Yes, I gesture toward my office. Would you like to see more? That evening, I choose a rooftop restaurant overlooking the city. The lights below mirror the stars above, creating an infinite field of possibility. For years, I say, setting my phone on the white tablecloth. You thought I was lying about my life. We were just concerned, Mom says, reaching for her water glass. I press play. Her own voice fills the space between us. Imaginary fiance, followed by Aunt Patricia's laughter. I didn't invite you here for an apology. The words come steady and clear. I invited you to finally see me. Father's face flushes that familiar purple. You brought us all this way to embarrass us? No, I meet his gaze. I brought you here so you would finally see me. Mother's tears fall, smearing her careful makeup. We were wrong about everything. I look at her. No longer any satisfaction of revenge, no elation of victory. Just quiet confirmation of facts. Yes, you were wrong. I take a sip of water. But it doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't matter? But we're family. Family, I say quietly, means people who believe in and support each other. You didn't treat me that way for years. Father's face contorts with confusion and fear. But we understand now. Can't we start over? You understand. I meet Father's eyes. Because my success has been proven to you. You haven't come to understand me as a person. A long silence flows. And dealing with that, I continue, will take time. Maybe a lifetime won't be enough. The city glimmers below us. A constellation of lights marking paths not taken, choices that led me here. My parents sit across the table, finally seeing the daughter they refused to believe existed. Their approval, so desperately craved for so long, feels strangely hollow now. Logan's words from this morning echo in my mind. The greatest revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's living so fully that their approval becomes irrelevant. I study their faces in the candlelight. Mother's trembling lips, father's rigid posture. The power to shape our relationship has shifted. Any reconciliation will happen on my terms, in my time. That knowledge settles like a warm stone in my chest. Tell me about your new project. Father says finally, his voice rough with something that might be regret. I lean back, considering. The night stretches before us, full of possibilities and limitations. Like the city below, some paths will remain forever unexplored. Others wait to be discovered. Let's start, I say, with what's true. 1 week later, sunlight streams through the floor-to-ceiling windows of my Dubai office. Catching the metallic threads in the abstract tapestry I bought in Istanbul last month. Logan appears in the doorway, 2 steaming cups in hand. The familiar scent of Earl Grey fills the air as he sets one on my desk. Your 9 o'clock is ready in the conference room, he says, leaning down to kiss my temple. The design team from Paris, I nod, taking a sip of perfectly brewed tea. It reminds me of myself at 23. Brilliant portfolio. Family who thinks graphic design is just pretty pictures on a computer. The young woman's face fills my laptop screen moments later. Bright-eyed and nervous. Her portfolio spreads across my second monitor. Clean lines, bold color choices, the raw talent I recognized immediately at her age. Emma, tell me about the restaurant campaign concept, I say, my voice carrying the warmth I wished for at her age. The one your professor called too modern. She straightens, hands fluttering. My father said the same thing. That no traditional French restaurant would ever give me a chance. Her concept unfolds across the screen. Contemporary yet elegant, perfectly balanced between innovation and timeless appeal. My mind flashes to a portfolio review 12 years ago. My mother's pinched expression at my waste of a legal education. They're wrong, I tell Emma, watching hope bloom across her face. You understand something they don't. Tradition evolves. Book another session next week. We'll develop this further. After the call ends, I stand at the window, watching sunlight glint off the Burj Khalifa. My team fills the open office beyond my door. Their quiet energy hums through the space. Voices rise and fall in English, Arabic, French, Mandarin. A symphony of creativity I built from scratch. My phone buzzes. An email from my mother. The subject line stops my breath. Family reunion, your terms, dear Julia. The lake house is lovely in October. Logan mentioned you might have business in New York that month. No pressure. Just know you're both welcome whenever you choose. Love, Mom. No guilt trip. No manipulation. No desperate need to prove her maternal devotion to the country club crowd. Logan's arms slip around my waist from behind. Board meeting done early. What's got you smiling? I show him the email. Mom's finally learning. I lean back against him. Maybe we'll go. On our terms. 6 weeks later, autumn sunlight dapples the lake house deck. Logan's hand rests warm against my lower back as we climb the familiar steps. No knot in my stomach. No mask of perfect daughter sliding into place. The door opens before we reach it. Mom's eyes meet mine, clear and uncertain. Julia, Logan, thank you for coming. Inside, scented candles flicker on the mantel. Dad looks up from his paper, reading glasses perched on his nose. Just read about your team's award. The Hong Kong campaign, Singapore, I correct gently. But yes, the Asian market expansion exceeded projections. No dismissal. No comparison to my cousin's law firm partnership. Just my father's small nod. The beginning of understanding in his eyes. Monthly video calls followed. Awkward at first, like learning a new language. Dad asking about projects, actually listening to the answers. Mom sending articles about female entrepreneurs in the Gulf states. Her handwritten notes in the margins showing she'd really read them. Aunt Patricia's absence speaks volumes. Some bridges burn for a reason. The Santorini wedding photos arrive in December. Small, intimate, perfect. Claire beside me in a sage green bridesmaid dress. Our childhood competition dissolved into genuine friendship. My parents in the background, respecting the boundaries of their new role. Rebecca's champagne toast still echoes. To believing in yourself when no one else would. Spring finds me addressing a room of young designers in a Dubai conference hall. Many of their stories mirror my own. Families who mistake different for wrong. Dreams dismissed as phases to outgrow. The helicopter story spread. I tell them, watching recognition spark. But that moment wasn't about proving anyone wrong. It was about finally being right with myself. A young woman approaches afterward, portfolio clutched to her chest. My family thinks I'm wasting my accounting degree. They don't believe I can make it in design. I see myself in her tight shoulders, her defensive grip on her work. Show them what they don't see. Mom visits the office in May. She pauses before the framed photo of Logan's helicopter landing, backlit against the country club's manicured lawn. I was so embarrassed that day, her voice catches. Now I understand it was necessary. It wasn't about embarrassing you. I meet her eyes in the glass reflection. It was about finally being seen. I see you now. She touches the frame gently. I'm sorry it took so long. The truth settles, peaceful as sunset over the Arabian Gulf. I don't need it anymore. Later that night, Logan and I stand on our balcony, the city lights jeweling the darkness below. Plans for the New York office expansion spread across the patio table between us. We could take the apartment in Manhattan, I muse. Be closer to family if we want. If we want. Logan's smile holds a decade of understanding. Your choice, your terms. I watch a plane's lights trace across the star-studded sky, remembering a young woman who once thought proving her worth would fix everything. The greatest revenge isn't proving them wrong. My fingers lace through Logan's. It's living so fully that their approval becomes irrelevant. The night breeze carries the scent of jasmine from the garden below. Somewhere in Paris, Emma works on her restaurant campaign. In Dubai, my team prepares tomorrow's client presentation. In a lake house in America, my mother learns to see her daughter clearly. All of us evolving, one truth at a time. She overcame her past and stepped into a new future. Do you know someone amazing who bounced back from an unfair situation? Share this video to give someone courage. And if you've experienced not being understood by family, tell us in the comments. You're not alone.